Hello, everybody. Hello, UNanians. Hello, I hope you're all well. I am so happy to be here today. I haven't been for so long, and I am so grateful for all your messages asking me where I have been. Where I have not been anywhere, but I've been here. I've always been here. I've been in the background. I welcome you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting UNN's vision. Thank you for everything that you do and you persistently, consistently do always. So, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I appreciate you being here. As we come on our show today, this is just a reminder, those who do not know me and do not know what the purpose of this show is all about. It's the revolutionary spa, and it's about self-purposeful action. It is a spa. It is a show to help us to be intentional, to be purposeful, and to take self-action. It's really looking inside to be able to change our environment, our situation. So, as always, I'm your host, Sophia Sebi. And before we go into this show, before we sort of dig deep down into our self-intention, self-purpose, about how we are supposed to be improving on ourselves, to improve the revolution, to improve the situation, our environment in Uganda, to improve our mindset. It's all about mindset. It is the revolutionary spa, self-purpose of action, and I'm your host, Sophia Sebi. So before we go any further, let's start off with our Ugandan anthem. And then we'll go into the show. The program will run looking at how, what exactly we are grateful for, how we're supposed to improve our vision. It's about prayer, gratitude, then our food for thought, just giving you my perspective on food for thought. And then we go into a topic today, which is about we eat to live and not live to eat. Because when we do that, if we live to eat, we become what we expose ourselves to. We become a product of our environment. Everything is circumstantial. It is not coming from within, it's coming from outside. So if you live to eat, whatever you put in is what you become. So we'll go into our introductory anthem today as we bring on our Ugandan anthem, and then I'll come back to you and we sort of have a perspective on philosophical and psychological thought, which is where I base my research, I base my perspective from. So thank you. Welcome to the Revolutionary Spa on UNN TV. We're on radio, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, and we are on Facebook. Don't forget to like the page, share the page, and continue sharing with everybody the message, the good news. Thank you.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hand. United, free for liberty, together we'll always stand. Oh, Uganda, the land of freedom, our love and labor we give, and with neighbors all at our
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Oopsie, I think I had put myself on mute, so most of you could not hear me. So I do apologize. Of course, all of you probably could not hear me, but I do apologize for that technical glitch, things of the technical world. Anyway, we'll go with what we have. I welcome you back from our little break. Welcome back. And just a reminder for everybody, this show is about revolutionary spa. What does that mean? Revolutionary self purposeful action. I am all about our mindset. I am all about improving the self in order to improve our situation. The Ugandan revolution. It's about you. It change starts with you. We really should get away from the situation of we are waiting for somebody else to change our situation, our future. We need to take everything in our hands. We need to take the power back. So the show today is about we eat to live, not live to eat. And I was explaining earlier that we become what we expose ourselves to. So, for instance, if you eat bad food, you cannot expect to have good health. If you eat bad food, you cannot expect to have good health. The same applies in everything in our lives. The same applies if you don't make an effort in friendships, don't expect to have friends. If you don't make an effort in building your neighborhood, do not expect someone else to come to build your neighborhood. But before we go into the show, I just want us to have a reminder every time that you wake up, every time that you go to bed or you sit in silence and just remember, just reflect on how your day went, on how your life is going. What are you grateful for? Are you grateful? Do you have gratitude? Do you go into prayer thinking that miracles are going to happen within a second? If you closed your eyes so tight or clasped your hands so tight, do you think that by magic things will happen? Do you hurry God? Because God has his own time. There's always time for the right things happening at the right time if you're in the right place. So, what are you or who are you grateful for? Are you still breathing? Do you have a job or a livelihood? Do you have good health when everyone else sort of is, when others are not independent enough to do for themselves, like just simply brushing their teeth? Who are you grateful to or for? And what did you learn sort of this week that makes you grateful? What did you learn that's of value from someone or something that you are grateful for? Remember to always take a moment of silence each day to give thanks by just not asking. It's not about asking all the time. So, my gratefulness, or my gratitude, and my prayer today, I just want to be grateful for all of you for being here. Those who will listen later or who will share the message, I am grateful to you. And I just want to remind us all that we are here for growth, for evolution. We are not static. We evolve. And if you're not evolving, ask yourself, why am I not evolving? If you're stuck, if you're stagnant, why is my life stagnant? Is it because of things happening outside of myself? If everything else is changing, good or bad, however you want to put it, is it changing? Is it changing you as a person? Your being, your core, your inner self. So I am grateful. I know we're here for growth, we're here for evolution, and therefore it is important to acknowledge those we grow with. Every one of us is valuable. Any experience is valuable. It does not matter if it's experience that you find useful or not useful. I extend my gratitude first to the Almighty for enabling us to come together every single time. And of course, special thanks to all those that came before us, the elders present and past, all those who contribute to our knowledge every day. You know who I'm talking about. I won't mention names. My colleagues at UNN TV, known and unknown, because there's so many of you. I do take you as my colleagues too. But especially those giving your time without ceasing, especially behind the scenes. All UNNians for trusting and believing in UNN TV's vision and the UFCC vision. All those who continue to contribute to the Ugandan revolution, be it emotionally, practically, financially, or otherwise, you are all valuable. I just want to remind you of that. If you're not told enough or every day that you are valuable for just being. And all supporters of fundamental and revolutionary change. You know, there's so many different ways that we see change. We can have change, maybe change of time. You can change a job. You can have a temporary change or permanent change. But we are here to have revolutionary change. That means turning upside down everything that we have come to learn from childhood into adulthood. We really need to take this seriously. Of course, not being angry. Seriousness does not necessarily mean angry or upset or abusive. It just means you can become peaceful and just take note, take action. Let that action be purposeful, intentional. So I am hoping this show being on Saturday, towards obviously the end of our week, or it is the end of our working week, take note, take inventory in what it is that you've learned so far up to this stage, what it is that you need to learn. That is being intentional. What is it that you need to see? What vision do you have to see for yourself, for your Uganda, for your family? So remember also, you are not an isolated island. You learn with others. You can only move from point A to B because of people that pull you up. So pull up somebody that you think needs it. It is about the collective, not about the me. It's not about you receiving, but give what you want to receive back. So my food for thought is that this revolution is not just a Ugandan one, but a worldwide. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's so much going on in the world today. So wherever you are, question everything. Don't accept what you are told, but do your research. As I continue my food for thought, just to say that an enslaved mindset is a paralyzed mindset. Because let's be honest, who are we fooling that we desire freedom when our mindset is still enslaved or paralyzed? It can be paralyzed because of fear, because of pride. I hope that my food for thought, a little bit of my food for thought, sort of ignites a fire in you, that you are not alone in this, ignites a fire that let's not put our whole being, our process of thinking, our faith in things outside of us. All those that drive forward or shout the loudest are not necessarily truthful. So, about the revolution not being just the Ugandan revolution, did you know that there may be a recession? Have you noticed? Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the commodity prices going up and cost of living going high, but incomes are stagnant. The cost of things is high. Have you prepared on how this will impact on you, your income, your livelihood? Have you planned to ensure you have multiple streams of income? No matter how small you may think an investment is, you don't have to have millions to prepare to invest. And I'm talking about investment, it can be something to do like with time, with doing research, with reading, with educating yourself, with seeking knowledge, with acquiring knowledge. But of course, that knowledge is useless if it's not put into action. Did you know that saving, let's say saving, monetary saving, is another form of hoarding? Hoarding is sort of this accumulation of things, hoarding and keeping money in the bank. Who are you keeping it for? And what use is it having on you? Are you saving for having a target, like short-term goal, a target? You want to buy maybe a piece of land, you're saving that amount, fair enough, that is fine. But if you're hoarding or you're saving that money for without a target, without a time bound, then maybe you might rethink on how you're saving. How has it gone for you so far? Has it given you the returns that you should have? Is it helping you, or is it helping an entity or an organization like the bank? Just food for thought. So this time that we're using, this time that we spend on UNN, this time that we spend researching and acquiring knowledge, this time is about being woke. And I don't mean just in Uganda, but all over the world. Have you looked around? Remember, there are many ways to live life. We can live life not necessarily through the mainstream job, for instance, the weekly or monthly paycheck, through same mainstream imported education. The education system, is it working for us, or is it working for somebody else? For instance, the fees that you pay, that you go and grind and beg and borrow, is it necessary that you need to borrow your livelihood, that you need to sell off your piece of land? Because real estate, like land, is the most valuable thing that you can have. But there are no guarantees that the education system is serving you. We all know what that is like nowadays. There are many, many ways that we can live a life of abundance without being dependent on the system, but rather be sovereign in ourselves, self-sustain ourselves. So we need to start thinking of how we can really self-sustain ourselves and not rely on the system, because we all know that once the system crashes, it goes down with us. We go down with it. So I'm here to remind you that whilst you're learning, whilst you're here on UNN, getting the knowledge, giving praises to us all who are behind the scenes and saying, or us that come here every time, that we are doing a good job. What are you? How is your life changing with what you're seeing, with what you're listening to? Because knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is power. I will go a bit further. I'll go a bit further as we move through our you know, our presentation today. I will go a bit further. Just a reminder, I want to read this Bible. It's a Bible quote. It's from Galatians 3 and chapter 1, probably until about chapter 6. This quote, the Bible verse says, "O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you, that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ hath been evidently set forth and crucified among you." Well, this is from the King James Version, but maybe I will read a little bit, which another version, which might be a lot more palatable for you to take in. It says, it's from Galatians 3, chapter 1 to 3. "You foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? Before your very eyes, Jesus Christ was clearly portrayed as crucified. I would like to learn just one thing from you. Did you receive the Spirit by observing the law or by believing what you heard? Are you so foolish? After beginning with the Spirit, are you now trying to attain your goal by human effort?" I would encourage you to reflect on that verse. I'm sure there's many other verses similar to that in the Quran as well, but I'm not well versed with the Quran, so I won't come quoting anything I don't know. I just want you to just reflect a little bit. Are we foolish? Just a reminder of something I reflect on. I saw maybe last month, where our powerful Mama Miriam Matembe, or Dr. Miriam Matembe, as she said on national television, probably about May, in May, the month of May, she quoted this scripture, asking, "Who bewitched you, Ugandans?" She also talked about enslaved mindset of the Israelites being referred to like grasshoppers who failed to take over their promised land due to the fear, the paralysis, fear paralysis. Are we a wasteful society? Are we blinded and not seeing our inner power, our talents through our way of life? I am sure there is some who live extraordinary lives. I am very sure. But many of us are perishing because of living for the flesh, not the spirit. We do indeed live for the flesh and not for the spirit. Hence, the reason for my topic today. My topic today, it is about we eat to live, not live to eat. We become what we expose ourselves to. So if we reflect on this, the Bible verse from Galatians 3, chapter 1 to 3 or 1 to 6, have a read. It doesn't matter if you're religious, if you're not. It could teach us a lesson or two, because the philosophical thought does get their sort of learning and their perspective a lot around the Bible, around Jesus Christ, the person of Jesus Christ. I'm not by any means preaching. All I'm saying is that everything that we do, call it what you will, it might be about the universe, the laws of the universe. But we'll go quickly into a short break. And I wanted to play you something. I'm hoping that, this is again an audio. There's an audio book I'm reading, and I'm reading from Florence Scovel. I don't know if many of you know Florence Scovel, very old philosopher. And it was around fear paralysis. So I'll play maybe about 2 minutes of this audio, and you tell me what you think and maybe reflect on it. Maybe it will be helpful in how you see yourself, your perspective, your person, your being, and how you relate to fear.
All through the Bible, man is told not to be afraid. Fear is man's only enemy. If you can only believe, all things are possible. Linked with God power, man is invincible. The story of Jehoshaphat is the story of the individual. So often he seems outnumbered by adverse appearances, but he hears the same voice of the infinite saying, "Be not afraid or dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but God's." Jehoshaphat and his army were even told that they would not need to fight the battle. "Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of the Lord, for the battle was God's, not theirs." Jehoshaphat appointed singers unto the Lord to praise the beauty of holiness, as they went out before the army, singing, "Praise the Lord, for his mercy endureth forever." When they came toward the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked toward the multitude, and behold, they were dead. The enemy had destroyed itself. There was nothing to fight. The Bible is talking about states of consciousness. Your enemies are your doubts and fears, your criticisms, and your resentments. Every negative thought is an enemy. You may be outnumbered by adverse appearances, but be not afraid or dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but God's. As we follow closely the story of Jehoshaphat, we see he advanced making an affirmation. Praise the Lord, his mercy endureth forever. He had nothing to say about the enemy or his own lack of strength. He was giving the Lord his full attention, and when he commenced to sing and praise, the Lord placed ambushments against his enemies, and they were smitten. When you make your statements of truth, your enemy thoughts are vanquished, dissolved, and dissipated. Therefore, all adverse appearances disappear. When Jehoshaphat and his army came toward the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked into the multitude, and behold, they were dead. The watchtower in the wilderness is your high state of consciousness, your fearless faith, your place of safety. There you rise above all adverse conditions, and God's battle is won. When Jehoshaphat and his people came to take away the spoils of the enemy, they found among them both riches and precious jewels, more than they could carry away. And they were there for 3 days in gathering of the spoil. It was so much. That means when you let God fight the battle for you, great blessings come out of every adverse situation. The ingenuity of the Spirit is amazing, yet it is very difficult for the average person to stand still, which means keep your poise and let infinite intelligence run the situation. People like to rush into the battle and try to manage things themselves, which brings defeat and failure. Therefore, walk up fearlessly and face the lion on your pathway, and the lion turns into an Airedale. The lion takes his fierceness from your fear. A great poet has said, "Courage has genius, magic, and power in it." Many people lose the things they prize or love because they are continually fearing their loss. They do everything possible on the external to ensure protection, but back of it all is the devastating picture of fear. In order to hold the things you prize and love, you must know that they are divinely protected. Therefore, nothing can harm them.
Okay. Thank you. I hope there's been a lesson or two in that audio that you've listened to. I hope that you can go on. This is Florence Scovel Shin. She's one of a philosopher that writes a book called, let me see, but this is coming from the complete works of Florence Scovel. You can Google, it's also on Amazon. It's an audio book. I'm sure there's also a written version of this. But yes, so I encourage you listen or read about your inner being to give you the strength and courage not to be fearful of what might happen, or what is it that we, as we continue to have a vision of what we want to see in our new or change or revolutionize Uganda. You need to change yourself. You need to be the revolution that you want. So let's go into a quick break, and as we return, we dig deep into the philosophical perspective of our ocean. Thank you.
Eteekawo okwegatta awatali kukakaatika madiini. Obwetaavu obw'enkola eya federo mu Uganda. Ekisooka, enkola eya federo eteekawo eddembe n'obutetenkefu mu bitundu eby'eggwanga. Ekyokubiri, enkola eya federo buli omu asobola okwenyigira mu byobufuzi. Ekyokusatu, enkola eya federo eyambako ebyensimbi mu kulaakulana mu ggwanga. Ekyokuna, enkola eya federo essaawo emitendera mu gavumenti amateeka gasobole okuteekebwa mu nkola. Ekyokutaano, enkola eya federo essaawo okuteesaganya n'okwanjula ebirowoozo. Ekyomukaaga, enkola eya federo eyambako okutaayiza effugabbi eri bannansi. Ekyomusanvu, enkola eya federo eteekawo okwegatta awatali kukakaatika madiini, ennono oba ebyobulamu. Weewandiise ku lukiiko olwa UFCC ku www.ufcc.uk.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back, our viewers. This is UNN TV. We're on Twitter, Facebook, we're on radio, get UNN/radio. We are on YouTube. We are also here on Facebook. So this is the Revolutionary Spark. It's your host, Sophia Sebi. Our topic today is about we eat to live, not live to eat. Just a reminder that we become what we expose ourselves to. Whatever you feed into your mind is what you become. So if you decide to feed in someone else's perspective, you indeed will take on someone else's ideas and perspective. But if you decide to do your research, if you decide to be your own person, then indeed you will take in what you have learned, and it's your own perspective. And that's what we attempt to do here on UNN TV. So just want to probably define what our fear paralysis is. As we've had the audio, it's a book compilation of, Florence Scovel Sheen, very good philosopher. I encourage you all to go and, I think probably that compilation is maybe about £3 or £5. That would be equivalent to what, 10,000, 20,000 Uganda shillings. So if you invest in the knowledge, you reap what you sow. So fear paralysis, what is it? What is the definition? It's one of the early withdrawal reflexes. It's described similar to a terrified rabbit. If we just return to our previous about fear paralysis. So I will go on. One of the early withdrawal reflexes is described similar to a terrified rabbit. It is completely being frozen and unable to move. The moral reflex may be referred to as the infant startle reflex, or fight or flight response sort of thing. It is an automatic reaction to excessive sensory stimuli. And I'm sure we all agree that we have definitely been exposed to a lot of sensory stimuli, or excessive. When you look at our Ugandan environment situation, what is it about it that has brought us to sort of a frozen and unable to move? And it's not about talking all the time, frozen or unable to move. You can talk all you want, but if you do not have the action that goes with the knowledge that you have, it is a wasted knowledge. It is wasted knowledge. So we go into our topic today. Our topic today, reminder, is we eat to live and not live to eat. Or shall I say, not eat to die. So we're about eating to live, not living to eat. What do I mean by this? The living for our stomachs. Saying with our physical eyes. Paying lip service. There's a lot of lip service, but what is the action that is coming with it? We don't say what we mean and don't mean what we say in our daily lives. When do you pay lip service? When do you say exactly what you mean and do exactly what you said you will in your daily life? So changing our characters and our values, we move a little bit of the goalpost. It's not about staying static or staying stagnant. We've had what we've had the knowledge, we are still hearing the knowledge, we're still learning. Learning is a lifelong activity. But how do we ensure that we make those small steps, we put in place smart goals, being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Time, that is the acronym for SMART. How do we do that in our daily lives? Have you done an inventory of what you think? How do you see the new Uganda, or the revolutionary Uganda? Where do you sit in everything, in all the chaos? So when we think about, sort of this topic, what we eat to live and not live to eat, the creation of small gods I talked about in my previous show, I think episode 17, about the golden calf. The Israelites put faith in instead of God, the Almighty they claim to serve. So what is your golden calf? Did you think this was just about the Israelites and only mattered at that time? Just a little bit of if you know Nina Simone, she was an American singer, and there's a speech she put on Facebook, or there's a page which is Nina Simone's page, and if you go in and look for a speech where she's talking about how she saved, about why she sings and meaning of her music. Whatever we do in our lives has to have meaning. Otherwise, we are wasting our time. We are sort of living to eat, or we eat, we're not eating to live, but we're living to eat. What is the meaning of your life? What is it in your life that you want to see? Are you sort of here endlessly sharing and not knowing the purpose of why you're sharing the information you're sharing, the purpose of why you're UNN? So like Nina, I too come here to inspire. I'm hoping inspire, motivate, uplift others. That is my purpose, my voice. Be a voice of the voiceless. And I am sure those I have communicated with personally will testify. I want to be a voice to encourage, to inspire, to motivate. So I am purposeful I am not just on UNN to talk for the sake of talking. I do my research. I am intentional. So to my people, I, like these inspiring women, Dr. Miriam Matembe and Nina Simone, all from different times, I say, let's eat to live, not live to eat. And how do we do that? God gave us all talents. Each and every one of us, each and every one of you has a talent. In my case, he gave me privilege where I am now. I am privileged to be here serving you. How my spirituality, I find it a privilege. My blackness, my darkness, it's a privilege. My Africanism is a privilege. My Ugandanism is a privilege to inspire, and I am doing so here today. And in my day job as a social worker, I am privileged. I am not privileged because of the things I have, like material things, like money. I believe I am a person that cannot be duplicated. So are you. So each one of us here, we cannot be duplicated into someone else. No one can be you. No one can be me. And so, not a person that can be duplicated. You are not. So I have a voice, so I will use it. You have a voice, you use it. I have a brain, I will use it, not wasted. Otherwise, I know that my infinite power, the higher spirit, I will pay for what I put into the world. So do you. This is about how we be purposeful, intentional. You take that self-inventory to know what is it that I'm good at, that I can start from where I am now. I have 2 hands, I will use them positively. I have 2 legs, I will use them. I have a way with words, I will use them like I'm doing now. Because my spirit tells me so. The God in me tells me so. Infinite power tells me so. I was once in the mindset not long ago that waited for a loud voice to tell me what to do, or waited for someone else to do before I can do. And that if I prayed with my eyes closed, hard, and hands clasped tight enough, if I prayed long enough all night, went to probably midnight prayers or overnight prayers, and sat and waited patiently, a miracle would happen. A miracle would come. I'm sure you all agree with me that miracles do not come like that. They come with faith. Then we put in the work, the action. And by the way, action is not just about being on the street. It's about passing on the message. It's about using your words, whatever talent you're good at. How can you get your talent that you're good at in yourself, in your being, as you know, to sort of improve on the revolutionary Uganda, the Ugandan that we want to see, the change, the completely turned upside down Uganda. So I realized that the miracles I was searching for were all along in me, around me, and in the everyday life. My being here was no accident. My birth was no accident. And I'm hoping every one of you realizes that, understands that your being, your person, yourself, it was not an accident. You are unique. It is not by coincidence that many have told me, for instance, about the sound of my voice being powerful, past and present, but I never listened. So miracles happen among us every day, our everyday life. It's not going to be a big bang theory and there you are. Let there be light and boom. So I remember one time working in a call center as a customer service advisor. I remember being told by strangers, customers, that my voice was something like good for voiceovers. I never took it seriously and continued to work that 9-to-5 job. But if I had listened to the miracles, the vessels, this does not happen by accident. It is God that puts these vessels, the people, coming into our lives in a way to tell us who He wants us to be, to tell us what we are here on earth for. Don't get me wrong, by no means, this is not a preaching program. I just want you to relate in your everyday. If you're a prayerful person, you say you belong to that religion and belong to that religion and belong to that and that, a belief. You need to understand what it is that you're believing in, because the God that you say you're serving has given you everything you need around you. He goes through the people. It's not a big bang theory. Miracles don't come as we expect them to come, with glitter and glamour. As I have come to realize, and I have said before, miracles are among us. And I have come to understand that miracles don't come with shining lights, glitter, or in a well-wrapped box. Do you know, like one of those glitter, someone gives you a birthday present, you probably didn't expect. It's not a Big Bang Theory. It's not sort of like, fireworks going off. No. God speaks through us, through you, through events. These are the miracles. Life presents us with miracles every single day. You just must look in the mirror. And to see them, look in the mirror and see the miracle is looking right back at you. You are the miracle. You are made in the image of God. A miracle is smiling right back at you. A miracle is you smiling at the saddened and grieved. A miracle is you sharing your smile with your neighbor. A miracle is you sharing your bar of soap, however expensive it has been. Even if you have no idea what tomorrow brings. A miracle is faith in making plans for tomorrow, even if you know you are not in control of your life. You won't wake up. A miracle is you holding the door or helping the elderly or less able who you pass by daily. A miracle is you giving up your seat to the elderly, that pregnant woman, that less able-bodied. Even if you feel very tired, you could have used that seat. It could have really helped you to relieve your tiredness. A miracle is having empathy for another without having reason to. A miracle is sharing a meal with the hungry, even when you have little. A miracle is visiting the imprisoned. A miracle is helping an asylum seeker. A miracle is standing for the unjustly treated. A miracle is not beating your child, wife, husband, or maid. A miracle is getting to the root cause of why someone stole from you instead of beating them up to death. A miracle is visiting the sick even when you are unwell. A miracle is giving to the poor even if you think you are poor. I repeated, miracles are among us in our everyday life. They are not imagined, not endless prayers, hoping for something to appear as if by magic or from the sky. That is not miracle. Miracle is every day. I was listening to one of the rooms on Clubhouse. I'm not sure if some of you go to Clubhouse. And this was about the laws of attraction. It's the secret laws of attraction. This is a room that has sort of inspirational, motivational, and daily things to motivate you. Self-help. And it's one of someone called Diraj, and he played an audio of one of Napoleon Hill's lectures. Napoleon Hill he was a philosopher again. One of his lectures. Again, you can find this, you can Google it, Napoleon Hill. Not Napoleon the politician, but Napoleon Hill. So in his audio, his lecture, Napoleon Hill said to his audience that he believes the greatest sin of mankind is the neglecting of the mind. Our neglecting of our mind is the greatest sin. Because everything that we need and desire to make the miracles that we are looking for outside of ourselves, they're all in the mind. So we set limitations for ourselves with titles, for instance. We want to be called a certain thing, put in a certain box. We set those limitations. for ourselves. And yet, if we just be. So I know this, Prince Chimbugwe usually reminds you of this book, How to Get What You Want, or Grow Rich, Think and Grow Rich. It's again by the same person, Napoleon Hill. But this particular lecture or book is How to Get What You Want. So he also writes Think and Grow Rich. He's the author of Think and Grow Rich. He also goes on to say, if you cannot embrace the opportunity, make the opportunity. For instance, if someone has not made the opportunity, like the UNN did, to go maybe to go on other programs and say what we need to say, UNN made the opportunity. The people behind UNN made the opportunity. If someone does not invite you to a table, make your own table. I'm sure you know so many people. You know so many, you have so many relationships, online or offline, in person. You can make your own opportunity. So Napoleon refers to Napoleon, the politician, who told his army, he told them, attack, don't procrastinate, attack. Start from where you are. That's what I mean. Attack. Just get on with it. Start what you want to start. Do what you say you want to do. Don't talk about it endlessly. Do it. Just do it anyway. Get on with it. So you are the miracle you are looking for. You are the it that's coming. There's no savior coming from the sky or otherwise. You are it. So we always get stopped by lamenting. When we lament, we are procrastinating. Postponing things is procrastination. Endless discussions about the issue without acting is procrastination. Without acting is procrastination. Coming with excuses why you cannot do something, or should have, or would have, or someone else is stopping you, is procrastination. We are just existing, not living. So if we want abundance, this also includes freedom. We ought to move with faith, courage, and purpose, and be success conscious. As I always say, we individually ought to be right with ourselves before we want others to be right for us. As you may have heard the saying, it is right with my soul. What do you think that means? It is important to know that we ought to believe in ourselves more than we want others to believe in us. So the law of life, universal laws, for instance, if you want love, you must first show love. If you want a service, you must first be of service. If you want out of life, you must give to life. For instance, greeting somebody on the street, they will greet you back 99% of the time. But society has led us to believe we have to be fearful of everybody else, be suspicious. Imagine my 7-year-old daughter finds it strange when I greet people at random on the street. Why? Because the world has taught her about the boogeyman under the bed. Do you know the Halloween? Who's made those things? The education system. Remember about cramming? You write every single word that the teacher is saying, and yet the teacher is not absolute. They're not everything. They don't know everything. So start treating your neighbor kindly. Give without being asked or expecting anything in return. I again go back to the biblical thought. Jesus said the kingdom of God is at hand. What did he mean? I believe it is you, your essence, your being, your core. Imagine you leave home to go on your way to work. A stranger hurts you by their actions. Will you stay to be in an argument as this will make you late? Or will you continue your journey and be on time? Ignore the argument because it is likely to take you off course. What is it in your life that is taking you off course? It takes you off your vision. What is it that is doing that to our vision, the revolutionary vision? Is it the bloggers or whatever, whoever, are they taking us off course? The course of where we want to be. How do you think this relates to what is going on with the people that are instigating disruption, to smear, to destroy? Another example, about a month ago, I was feeling stuck as a single parent, all responsibilities on me to pick up, and I wondered who would be picking up my child from school. I chose to disregard the dilemma I was in and got on with it and found a solution. I did not complain that somebody else who is supposed to be doing what they say they will has decided to sort of cancel it last minute. So I say that the same is as others being disruptive of our energy, disrupt our vision, disrupt our attention to that thing we wish to achieve, disrupt our time, so we are delayed at arriving at our desired destination. In this case, at our desired UFCC or a revolutionary change. What are you going to do? Are you going to stop and have quarrels and argue? Like the universal laws, like I said, laws of life I talked about a few weeks ago and today, the many philosophical thought leaders, they sort of go from, have you heard of the law of attraction? What you put in comes back to you. The law of cause and effect. As you sow, so shall you reap. That's what it essentially means. The law of suggestion. Act as if until it is true. Don't stoop low to being, to think don't have, we have not won, or we are not going to get our revolution as we want just because of what you see in front of your eyes. But we need to act the part. We need to act as if we are in a revolutionary Uganda. We need to act now, not wait to see everything else, the buildings going up or going down, or someone else changing, the politicians coming, stopping, coming away from parliament or being voted out. We need to act as if we are the part until it is true. How about the law of substitution? Replace your thoughts and actions with something else radically from what you have been doing already. Find something new. You need to replace your thought for our mindsets to change, to be revolutionized. We need to change our thoughts. We replace our thoughts, our actions with something else. The way we do things cannot be like yesterday or last year. Have you heard of the law of karma? What goes around comes around. Do you live by these laws? The law of love, the law of forgiveness. Who is it in your life that you haven't forgiven? Forgiveness doesn't mean you need to sit at the same table and eat with them. You don't need to laugh. You don't need to laugh with them. You don't need to, say jokes. But if you don't forgive, you are stuck and blocking your success. You are where you are because He, God, Spirit, wished it so. Don't see it as a disappointment or disadvantage, rather as an opportunity to be something different, something greater than which you were before or you are now. So to transform like that butterfly from a not so good looking thing to this beautiful with colors. So I remember when Prince Page in one of his shows talked about those in the diaspora, especially the Arab countries, how they are destined to play an important role. If you recall this, ask yourself, how can I then get into that positive mindset that is going to get me towards that role that I'm supposed to have to be playing? Remember that miracles go through people, vessels. People are the vessels of the message that God may want you to know, or whatever you believe in. So do you reflect on everything else that has been said before? How are you getting into the positive groups? Your 5. Have you done your 5 UFCC, the 5? Your networks. These are like masterminds to discover what, where, and how. Don't listen to negative voices or people or worry about what they are doing. Because if you defend yourself, they call it a nuisance. So you're having to exchange that negative energy, negativity. So what does success mean? I just want a little bit of reminder for us all. Success means the realization of an ideal. That's our Nightingale put it that way. That success means the realization of an ideal. It does not mean you've accumulated the things. It just means like how we are here on UNN, we have a realization of an ideal, where we want to go, where we want to be. We are realizing our vision. We cannot conform to the big group. Remember, we are creatures of habit. We tend same things, same routine, and even to the length of following the wrong people. So my advice, check your references. If the people you are following or surrounded with do not possess your values, your principles, where you want to go, your ideal, your vision, and you tend to always explain their actions or make excuses for them, then you may want to rethink why you are following them. I'll give you a day-to-day example. In the UK, we complain about the weather a lot, or we talk about it, how it's not good. That most of the time we make it become real. So we attract what we think about most of the time. The law of attraction. So my hypothesis is that the weather becomes what it is because of the way the people or we are predicting. This is how we are, sort of the UK population. Unpredictable, pretentious, complain, ungrateful, etc. Our attitude towards life is life's attitude towards us, like the weather in the UK. Just to remind everybody, in case you were wondering what is it that she's talking about, like I say, this show is about rebranding, reinventing, and revolutionizing oneself. It is about questioning everything. Stay focused on the vision of where you are going. Be intentional, purposeful, and take action. So how are you going to do that? It is not about politics, as if you wanted to hear that. It is not the same as probably every other show on UNN. So you're going to do that by seeking knowledge and put action that knowledge. Then you share the knowledge, because what you put in comes back to you. You practice the knowledge, you put into action, become that which you want to become. Look, act, behave, speak like what you want to see, what you want to become, as if you were it already. You are in possession of that which you seek or what you want to become. We have the power to make our environment change for us. Individually, we have that power. And as a collective, when we come together with a changed mindset of how we live our day-to-day lives, living as if our rewards in life are in exact proportion of what we give to life. So when you look at around you, around the Ugandan situation, wouldn't you agree that our rewards we've had are in exact proportion of what we have given into life? The law of attraction works all the time. Karma, like people might say, karma is a... What did you think that was? How did you think that perspective came about? So my final thoughts: knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is power. Do your part. Get involved with the revolutionary you, a revolutionary change of our motherland it will be. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and I thank you all for being here. It's the Revolutionary Spa with your host, Sophia Sebi. Just another thought: do what is easy and your life will be hard, or do what is hard and your life will become easy. That's from Les Brown. He's one of my motivational speaker, I think, of a lifetime. I'm sure many of you are familiar with him. But if we do what is easy, our life will be hard. And if we do what is hard, our life will become easy. What you put in is what you get out. Have a good evening, a good night, a good morning wherever you were. And I'm Sophia Sebi on the Revolutionary Spa at UNN. Hope you enjoy this evening's show. I believe it's this and that coming up later today. Good night.